Hi. Welcome back to my channel. Before I start out, I'll be giving a very loud shout out to all those who are new to my channel. You're highly welcome. You're welcome. So, today I'll be comparing having children in Africa and having children in Germany. But before I throw more light into this topic, whenever I say having children in Africa, know that I'm referring to where I come from, and that is Nigeria. I'm not saying having children in Africa in general, because Africa is a continent. So, I will start off with taking care of the pregnancy. When a woman is pregnant in Germany, the woman normally goes to the hospital to see about the development of the baby. When the woman visits a gynecologist, the gynecologist normally gives the woman a book. In Germany, we normally call this book Mother Pass. In this book, all the day-to-day development of this baby is documented in this book. In this book, the woman will see also for herself. Whenever she gets home, she can now take a time off and read through this book to see exactly how the baby is developing. And this book, the woman carries it around wherever she's going. If she's traveling, she carries it around with her. If she's going for a visit, she carries it around with her. It is necessary that she carries it around with her in case of an emergency. In Africa, when a mother goes to the hospital, this woman don't have a book. Any document is always in the possession of the doctor. The woman is not allowed to go home with any document concerning her pregnancy. Two, I will be talking about the arrival of the baby. When a baby is born in Africa, in Nigeria, the father of this baby normally takes a message to the grandparents of the baby announcing the birth of their grandchild. And the mother will now prepare herself to visit the daughter. And whenever the mother visits the daughter, she is required to stay 3 months in helping out in the household. It can go from house cleaning the house, cooking, taking care of the baby, feeding the baby, taking care of any other children that was born before the baby. And the mother of this baby basically does nothing. And here in Germany, when a baby is born, the father of the baby also takes a message to the grandparents, and the grandparents will come and visit the baby at the hospital if they are not far away from where their daughter is living. And if the daughter comes home, they will also come and visit. In Africa again, when a woman gives birth to a child, the mother of this woman is required to come and stay 3 months with the daughter. Here in Germany, the mother doesn't come to stay 3 months. Sometimes when the mother is the working class lady, she doesn't come. She doesn't even need to come and stay 3 months. But she can come for a couple of days and stay with the daughter. And if the daughter have luck, let's say if the mother is not living very far away from her, the mother can be coming from time to time to see how they are doing. And in comparing it with the Africans, I think the African mothers really know how to take care of their grandchildren. Third, the baby goes home. In Germany, when a woman gives birth to a child, and upon being discharged from the hospital, the woman, together with the midwife and the doctors of this hospital, normally make an arrangement for the midwife that will follow the woman home. This midwife normally comes with once in a week, depending on the case of the woman. And in Africa, when a woman gives birth to a child, upon discharge, the woman will go home along with the child. Nobody goes home with the woman. No midwife also visits the woman. But in the case where the woman is married to a rich man, the man can make an arrangement of a midwife coming to visit the woman at home. Oh, my next point is what happens when a child gets home after being discharged from the hospital? When a child comes home, the parents are mandated to take this child to the registry office. There, the documents about the child's birth will be documented, and a birth certificate will be issued out to the mother. And this birth certificate, the mother will take it to the necessary offices in charge to submit it for the acknowledgement of the birth of this child. Then, in Africa, in Nigeria, nobody gives you a birth certificate. I don't have a birth certificate. In Germany, when a woman gives birth to a child, she's normally visited by the mayor through his representative, in this case, a midwife. The midwife normally comes with a gift to the child and to the child's mother. In Africa, who cares? The local government doesn't even recognize the birth of that child. Nobody visits this child's mother in acknowledgement of the birth of the child. The state doesn't recognize the child. The local government doesn't recognize the child. Maybe the country also doesn't recognize the child. In my case, when I was born, my mom said nobody from the state government or from the local government visited her. And Germany is a very baby-friendly country. In Germany, a child gets paid for being born in Germany. And the mother also gets paid for staying at home to take care of this child. And when it comes to making allowances for maternity leave, when the woman is the type that doesn't want to stay so long at home, the woman is allowed to go back to work after 3 months. But if the woman who is the type that put the child first before every other thing, the woman, according to the law, the woman have the right to stay 2 years, and after this period of 2 years, the woman can go back to work. In Africa, a woman is given only 3 months maternity leave. And after this 3 months maternity leave, the woman is required to go back to work. In Germany, the woman also start getting letters from the state office for social, youth, and family. These letters are to remind the woman that she should be taking her child to the doctor in order to monitor the growth of this child. And these letters always come year in, year out. Year in, year out. The letters will start pumping in every year it comes. Sometimes you can also receive it up to 2 years. And when this woman forgets to take the child to the doctor, the people sending the letter will know. How do they know? When a woman gets a letter asking this woman to take the child to the child's doctor, there is always a letter attached to this letter. And this piece of attachment is always given to the doctor, and the doctor will now sign it, write the date you come to their clinic, write the dates, write everything about the child, and then stamp it, and then send it to the office. And then when the office gets it, the office will know that really the woman obeyed their instructions. And in the case where the woman forgets to do it, the woman will get a warning letter. And according to the constitution, when the woman keep on forgetting it, even up to 3 times, the woman will face the court of law. In Africa, nobody reminds you to take your child to the hospital. They believe that you are old enough to know what is good for your child. And they believe also that whoever gives birth to a child take care of the child. And the government doesn't send a letter to you to take your child to the hospital. The local government doesn't send a letter to you. Your friends and relations doesn't send they won't send letter to you. You should know what is good for your child. And in most cases, when in Africa, when the child received the last vaccination, the mother hardly visits the doctor with the child again. They only wait until the child shows symptoms of one disease or the other before taking the child to see the doctor. Now we'll be talking about monitoring the development of the child. In Germany, the parents normally work together with the doctor in order to monitor the development of the child, and the letters that they get from the state office of Social, Youth and Family also helped in reminding them to always take the child to the hospital. Here, some people normally see this letter as a form of disturbance. To me, I see this letter as a reminder. I really think Germany is a baby-friendly land. And the health insurance will also write letter to you to also remind you to take this child to the doctor. So, you see what I mean? For the right-hand side, the State Office for Social, Health, Youth and Family will write a letter to you. The other hand, the health insurance will also write a letter to you. So when these letters start pumping in from left and right, you don't have any choice. And when you fail, you face the wrath of the law. In Africa, there is health insurance, but it's not functional. And you don't get letter from any minister reminding you to take your child to the hospital. As I said, they normally take their children to see a doctor only when the child is sick. And here also, they are advised to adhere to the instruction. If not, your child will be taken away from you. Then, some people will start asking, what happens when the child is not really, is having a delayed development? Yeah. When the child is having a delayed development, the doctor always notices this. And that is why it's so necessary. That's why it's very, very necessary to work together with your doctor. And that's why it's necessary that you should always visit your doctor with the child before the child next birthday. When a doctor notices that a child has delayed development, take for example, when the child is 18 months to 24 months, a child within this age should know how to say around 20 words to 50 words. This child should be able to combine words together. Let's say for an example, Mama, hungry. Mama, cold. The child must not make a complete sentence, but the child should be able to make 2 words, to combine 2 words together in order to make a sentence. And when a doctor detects and impair speech on this child, the doctor normally recommends speech therapy. Sometimes in some children it lasts 6 months, in some it lasts 1 year, depending on how fast the child is. But sometimes the doctors don't just normally recommend speech therapy. They normally give you a questionnaire to fill out in order to help them to carry out a thorough examination of this child. Sometimes they will ask you if this child is your first child or is this child is your second child. Why do they normally ask this? They normally ask this because in some cases when a child, the first child is, that is the time it is sometimes difficult for the child to pick fast because the child hardly had contact of another child in the family. The child had contact only with adults, and you know the way adults speak, sometimes in parable, sometimes with difficult words, sometimes in a language they don't understand, especially when the child comes from another country that is not the country where that speaks another language that is different from the country where the child is born. That is when the child will start having problem. On, let's say, for instance, I come from Nigeria, from Igbo tribe. Then this child will be hearing Igbo, Dutch, English all together. And when this child tries to speak, the child finds it very difficult to pick words. The child will end up making a salad from those different languages. The salad of Igbo, English, and German. And that is not really good. So when the doctor noticed that the child is having difficulty because the mother or the father comes from another country that is not that doesn't have the same language as the country where they are living, then that is when the child is required to go for a speech therapy that will help the child to pick, that will help the child to know the difference between all the languages that this child is hearing. And in some cases too, when the doctor noticed that this child is having problem, not because of the language that the parents speak at home, but because this child doesn't have contact with other children, the parents are advised to take this child in order to have contact with other children. They are advised to register this child in clubs where children of the child's age meet, play together, do everything together in order for the child to hear and see and imitate the other children around him or her. And in this case, when the parents of this child work together peacefully with the doctor, then the child doesn't have a problem. I think Dutchland is so. Another question is, what happens when the child is disabled? When the child is disabled, the parents don't have to bother themselves too much. What the parents need to do is to take this child to the child's doctor, for the doctor to help them to say exactly what kind, and then later on they will be referred to the offices in charge of handicapped people. If the handicap is too bad, the child will get a ID card showing that this child is handicapped. The child will also get paid for being handicapped, and this allowance is to help the child take care of him or herself, because taking care of handicapped people can be expensive sometimes. And another thing here is that when the child, let's say if the child is the type that is deaf and dumb, then the family will need a special assistance in the sense of learning the language, sign language. The government normally helps by paying for the family to learn the sign language in order to communicate very well with the child. And in some cases, a specialist is normally sent to this child family. The specialist will be visiting them at home once in a week or 2 times in a week to help them for them to understand this child, to help them for them to know exactly the needs of this child. And sometimes it can be difficult when the parents opposes the help or the support of these people. And when they work peacefully without any problem, then that is when they will have a very healthy and happy child. I think I did justice to the topic. I just said these few ones so that I don't prolong my video, because surprise, it really happened to me when I first came here when I was pregnant, and I went to visit my gynecologist. When she started listing all these things, what to eat, what not to eat, what to do, what not to do, what to do with my husband, what not to do with my husband, and then she also went ahead to give me a list of things that I should do in order to help me to promote the good development, the healthy development of the baby in my stomach. At a time, I'll be thinking, oh my God, am I dreaming? Or can somebody please wake me up? It's really favorable to have children here in Germany than in Africa. But then I'll conclude by saying I really don't want to be biased. I really don't want people to get biased with my explanation. I really want to be objective. I have listed out the facts. You now come to your conclusion. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. You are highly welcome. Cheers. Bye. I love you all.